Hey everybody, Sunburnt Tafony here once again. Hope you're doing well today. We're checking out the Patching Panda Hatz version 3. It's a 10 HP hi-hat designer for Eurorack, and it sounds like this. Okay, let's go over the panel real quick here while I have this unplugged. We have the closed hi-hat output for audio. We have the trigger input for the closed hi-hat, trigger input for the open hi-hat, and then audio output for that open hi-hat. I wish these kind of cascaded into each other if you wanted to just simply plug one output into your mixer, but hey, you want to mix these probably, so you gotta split them up across two outputs. We've got our frequency control for our frequency for both, I believe. No, there's two frequency inputs, so you get separate CV control over the frequency of the closed hi-hat and the open hi-hat. Yeah, right here. And then there's an accent input as well if you want to modulate everything in like a macro way. There is control over the texture knob here. And then there's also a hold stage here, which I thought was interesting. So if you want to vary your decays in a way that isn't just sending accents, then you can do either the hold or the decay. There is a switch here as well. If you want them to choke or be completely independent, they will ring out without choking them, unlike the mutant hi-hats, and it's just above it. So I can't help but make a comparison. They just are, it's all or nothing. There's one sort of envelope way to choke them. So let's patch in a trigger. Let's listen to our closed hi-hat. That doesn't sound very hi-hatty, but I'll go through some of the controls here and we will definitely make it sound like a hi-hat. So we have decay, basically your envelope of our closed hi-hat. You'll notice that it really changes the timbre too, right? And I know that's kind of, the case for everything, but the effects that happen downstream are a lot more apparent the more you let them ring out, right? I know that's not very groundbreaking, but let's let it ring out a little more. I find the frequency you can hear some filtering because it's filtered noise, right? So to get filter or to get pitch out of a noise source, that we do some filtering, and you'll hear that here. So consider how the timbre is changing while we're filtering, right? Or what changes to the timbre happen when you're trying to make changes to the pitch. So that's all fine and dandy. We'll get into the open hi-hat section here. I'll just turn those sliders down for a moment. We have the envelope of our closed hi-hat, so you can change it from linear to exponential. But this is separate from the decay, although they are connected as indicated by that white line. So if you want a long decay, this will probably better demonstrate it. If it's linear at the bottom, bring it all the way up to the top. It's not actually making it longer, I don't believe. What's happening is it's just like if you look at the shape of the slope, right, it's just getting more quickly to that end destination where it's not ringing out anymore. So on that note, we'll leave it a little bit more open. We'll leave it in the middle just to modulate, or just to let it sing out like that. I kind of wish there was CV control over this because I like a little bit of modulating this rather than the decay, but you can get into crazy stuff with the hold, which we'll do in a moment. The metal section, these are the tone shaping controls. Let's hear that now. And it goes from like square waves to like total noise, and it almost gets into like, at the bottom thing, I almost am hearing like bit reduction or like bit crush sound, and I like that. The texture is the other control that does a similar thing. If we bring this one up here, there's a lot to be had here. And real quick, I'm just going to jump over the open hi-hats, and we can let those sing out a little more. It has its own unique timbre. And notice on the open hat, it feels like that filter is even more prominent, because you can sweep it completely out, which is something you didn't find on the other side, but that's just a little bit of interesting difference. Going up on that side, noodle with the texture a little bit. And I find these exponential. Someone's going to tell me this is logarithm. Someone's going to tell me this is logarithmic and not exponential, but I'm going to bank on it being exponential, sorry. But if we go from linear, it just, I don't know. Somebody I was talking to recently was talking about how like half of the magic behind Moogs wasn't the oscillators, it wasn't the overdrive, it wasn't the filter, it was like there's something special in the decay envelope, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah, how's that for nerdy stuff? Let's sweep through our open hat frequencies, textures, metals, and just with the tweak of these three knobs, basically there's like very different sounds. Metals up, texture up. Anyway, I really enjoy all of that. Let's go and move this back to our closed hi-hat, and then we will patch that out. And then we'll patch in a separate sequence for the open hi-hat. Get my output going here. Now, right now, no choke and no, or not very different patch between the two halves. It sounds a little wonk, to use a scientific term. But if we make our closed hats really short, and our decay of the open hi-hat a lot longer, if we make the filters a little different, this gets really nice. Right? Again, scientific terms, but like, good. Bringing in that blast now to just sort of drive the rhythm in. Turn that down a little bit because we want the focus to remain on our hats. Man, that blast sounds good. Okay, let's try some different textures. Kick's still too loud, sorry. Decay is down. Texture is up. Make sure I am... Nope, we're not listening to open hi-hat. Okay, let's hold on. Okay, bring in our open hi-hat now. Hear both of them going. Hear both of them going. Let's bring the choke mode and the kick. So kick can come in first. That blast sounds so nice. Here comes our choke. Hopefully you can see that. And I think there's some fun stuff happening here. But I also think that, like, letting both ring out is something that's really underrated. Everybody's always like, okay, if you're going to do hats, you have to choke them. But, like, I don't know. I like how it sounds to let them ring out, too. Oh, there's snare territory in there. Listen to that. Yeah. I mean, noise source is a noise source, right? Yeah, all right, let's get some LFOs going here. Triangle wave is coming in too. What's first? Let's do frequency modulation of the open hi-hat. That was audio, right? Sorry, let's go into LFO territory. Yeah. And here, it's very filter sweepy, right? So just keep that in mind. Like, I really like the effect, but like, you know, if that's not for you, let's try a different texture. Maybe it'll make it subtler. More subtle. Modulate the decays. This is the open side. So now if we take out our open side, let's just listen to the closed side. Turn down my kick a little more. It's a little overpowering. Let's modulate, I don't know, the frequency on the closed side. I mean, the pitch is very much like all filter, but it makes for a really nice effect. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So let's move our LFO over to the accent, and this might be too fast. Slow this down a little bit so you can hear how it changes the amplitude decay, I believe. Let's turn this up. Turn this into square wave territory. Yeah, not happening too much on there. Let's try the texture now. Let's just go over to our triangle wave, modulate that texture. All right, sorry. Let's listen to it again. So here is open hi-hat. Modulate our texture with a triangle LFO. And I'll just say, like, honestly, throwing as much modulation at this as possible is, like, really sounding great. Let's try the hold section now. Yeah. Bring it up a little more. So you can modulate decays, but is this just of the open hi-hat? I think it is. So on that note, let's switch over to the open hi-hat just to hear it. Yeah. I really like that. Texture down, metals up. Other way around. Chokes out. I think on the open side, I like the frequency like wide open. Yeah. Modulator texture again. Yeah, that's sweet. That happens if we go to audio rate. Frequency mod to audio rate? Yeah. I mean, why not? No, let's get that back into LFO mode. Do that over the decay because it sounds really nice. And then we'll pop this back into the trigger of the closed hi-hat, and then we'll make this into more of a jam. Let's listen to that. I mean, not to repeat a lot of things that I said about the blast, but I don't know, it's just a nice layout. Sliders are nice. Nothing, no button at all. Never mind button combos. Access to lots of great techno or nasty hi-hats. Yeah. Choke back in. Yeah. Tempo up. There we go. That's closer. Maybe not so fast. Yeah, techno, right? Reverb in. Reverb in again. Filter. Speaking of techno, let's bring in this clap. Reverb out. Yeah. Filter. Go back to modulating the texture. Yeah. Oh, I really dig this. And then maybe we can take our random source and randomize the decays. Yeah, only happening on the open hat though. Interesting. Yeah. Sounds awesome. Honestly, my mutant hi-hats I really like, but I do like the 2 HP hat too. Hat modules are underrated. Yeah. Sorry, I know this is a spaghetti's nest of but oh, that filtered noise. Let's go. All right, having too much fun. Hey, I'm Tafony. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that crap that YouTube is always on my case about not promoting to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.